All right, so it is, what is today? Tuesday, March 19th. Um, tonight's topic is brought to us by Kayla, and I know I'm going to mess up your name, Ybanez. Is that how you say it?
You got it. No,
I
you got
felt,
it.
I know I heard
You
you
did.
did a call one time and I listened to it, and you were like, here's how you say my name. And I was like, okay, I got this. Cool. So I connected with Kayla. I think it was a while back. Somebody else had done a Instagram training with her. I listened to it. I loved her content, so looked her up on Instagram and saw that she offered what she called her 5-day Stop the Hey Girl Instagram challenge. So I got in that Facebook group, lots of incredible content and stuff that I've already, passed some of it on to you guys. But I know that a lot of times as coaches, just hearing stuff from a different source or straight from the source, it might resonate with us a little bit differently. So when Kayla was offering free calls for teams, I jumped at it immediately, and she was so kind to take time out of her busy schedule to be here tonight. So with that being said, Kayla, if you want to just say anything about yourself before you get started and dive right in.
Awesome. Let me get my little screen share here. Perfect. So we're going to talk about maximizing engagement and growth and really how to create an attractive Instagram account. So just a little bit of background on me. I was originally from upstate New York, but I've lived in Chicago for almost 10 years now. My background is in marketing, as I'm a former freelance marketer for Disney stars. So any of my fellow millennials, if High School Musical rings a bell, I did a lot with that and the people involved in that movie. So that was a lot of fun. But I settled down younger to raise my two kids. I knew I wanted to be a younger mom, so I stepped away from that and got involved in network marketing, specifically Beachbody. So I'm very familiar since 2011. I'm still in the organization. And I stepped out on my own in my own business this past fall officially. So I love helping network marketers specifically with Instagram and business coaching. And it's been a great ride so far. So the reason why I love Instagram as a main vehicle is because there are over 800 million users on the Instagram platform, and it's growing every single day. And 2/3 of those people are coming on daily. So your ability to be able to connect to people is insane. This market is so not saturated, and there's just so much opportunity. And the best part about Instagram is you don't have to pay to play for posts like you do on business profiles on Facebook with the right strategies, of course. One of the biggest things is Instagram is really 2/3 platforms in one, with the Instagram feed, Instagram stories, and IGTV, especially with those new updates. There's some definite wins to that, and I'll be talking more about that here coming up. And then, of course, your ability to sell directly from Instagram. On Facebook, I know over the years there's been things with having personal profiles and not being able to conduct business, but with Instagram, there's no issues. You can sell in the DMs, and it's just that flexibility is completely priceless. And then, of course, being able to build relationships with such a large platform and be able to reach these people through utilizing things such as hashtags as a main source. So some of the things we'll talk about today are how to attract your ideal client, some of the do's and don'ts as a basis for hashtags, how you can update your bio to really be not only a client attraction magnet, but also to look a lot more professional as a leader in this industry. I'll give you a few of my top engagement tips. And then at the end, I'll give you a fun little trick that you can do tonight to get 40 plus followers overnight, which I think is really cool. So really, for figuring out your ideal client, you really have to ask yourself a few of these questions. The big one is your audience really wants to know what's in it for them right now. And if you aren't communicating that, not just through your content, but through your bio, which we'll get to, then that's going to be a hurdle to get over. That's really holding you back if you're not moving as far ahead in your business as you want to be right now. So really think about, why do your customers need you? What do you provide aside from the products that you sell? What problem do you solve? Again, aside from the products, you as the leader, you as the expert, you as the individual, what problem do you solve? Because whether you are someone who sells your own products or you're in network marketing, we're in the problem solving business. And every one of us has a different problem that we solve for our people. And really figuring out what that is to set ourselves apart is what's really going to help you move forward in your business at a much more rapid pace. And then, of course, it kind of ties into what do you want to be known for? So in the Instagram space, I want to be known for as the Instagram and business coach for network marketers who want to build their personal brand and scale their business for long-term success without hey girl messages, and to have themselves be set up. So if God forbid, the network marketing company you're in goes away, you have a solid personal brand that you can take with you to do anything else that you want to do. So think about kind of what you want to be known for in your space. So when you're clear on this, when you're clear on all of these questions, you're clear in your messaging. And when you're clear in your messaging, that's how you build the trust of your audience. When you have the trust of your audience, that is when they buy. So a lot of the reasons why you're not getting the success that you want right now on Instagram and why you might be feeling stuck, it's probably a few of these things. The first one, probably the biggest one that affects the most of us, is we end up relying, sometimes unintentionally, on inspiration marketing. And how you know if you're stuck in that inspiration marketing rut is if you have people comment and say, you're so awesome, you're so inspiring, I want to do that. But then when you reach out to them, it's crickets, they disappear. So they're the people that want to comment and love on you, but they're not the right people for you that are ready to take action. And it's frustrating because you're like, if I'm so inspirational and so wonderful, why aren't people wanting to work with me? And it's not so much of a problem with you as it is with your strategy and your building of other people's trust. Another thing is lack of consistency, which I know is easier said than done, but you can decide to change that today. Especially with Instagram, your consistency matters more than anything. It's not all about having the prettiest pictures or the most perfect captions. If you show up consistently and your audience knows when to expect you, that's how you build their trust. So if you are someone that posts on your Instagram feed every day, you have to do it every day. If you do every other day, every 2 days, that consistency in that pattern matters. The same thing with stories. You want to make sure that you show up a little bit in the morning, a little bit in the afternoon, a little bit at night. Even if it's one photo, one 15-second clip, that consistency matters. Another thing we get stuck in, again, sometimes unintentionally, is doing what other coaches are doing, seeing someone who's maybe in the top 10, taking one of their posts, if it's working so well for them and they're number 10, if I do the same thing, it's got to work for me. But again, we don't know their audience. We don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. And doing that not only damages your personal brand, but it damages your self-esteem because you think that, again, that falls back on you. But it's really just about figuring out what is going to work for you in this space. So it's very essential to put those blinders on. And even though amongst your team you work together, you support each other, it's really important to focus on what you are doing and a little less on what everyone else is doing. Another mistake that we run into is we try to sell before your audience trusts you. And that's essentially what a hey girl message is. It's trying to go from the knowing you phase, or not even knowing you yet, to the trusting you phase, which means they want to buy in one message. And it might work randomly once for every hundreds of messages, but for the most part, it doesn't work. And it just damages your ability to build a relationship because you're expecting them to trust you when they don't even know your name or what you're about yet. So one of the best ways to make a first impression in this space is to have an attractive bio. With your bio, your audience wants to know what's in it for them in the 2 seconds that they give it. So as much as it was cute in 2013, 2014 to put dog mom, 3 kids, Starbucks, Target, go me, people don't care about that anymore. They want to know what's in it for them. So those personal attributes are best to be left for highlights. So then you can share the important things about your life, but you're not taking up that real estate of however many characters you're able to put in there. Of course, don't say you're a Beachbody coach. Even if you're really proud and bleed Beachbody blue, if someone maybe had a poor experience with another coach, they will write you off immediately and not even give you a shot. And that would be a shame if that's someone whose life that you can change and if you guys would work really well together just because they're prejudging you based on that. And again, I firmly believe that the products support you, not the other way around, because you are the face of your brand. You are the owner of your business. So we don't want to give Beachbody all the credit. They support you. You're the star. So what should you put in your bio? You want to have a mission statement is what I like to call it, which kind of goes back to that question we asked ourselves earlier. What do you want to be known for? What do you want to help people do? So here's just an example. I help millennial women lose their post-college 15 pounds. So you want to be specific. Maybe you help people with a lot of things. That's great. Focus on the main one that people really want to change. Think of a pain point that people really want to change right now. So a lot of women, when they got out of college, they realize, oh crap, I gained this weight and I want to lose it. And that's very powerful. They're heading into the adult world and that's what they want to do. So think about not just if you help women, what type of women. So millennial women, maybe you help young professionals, post-grads, new moms, moms of toddlers, moms of teenagers. So be really specific about who you want to help. And again, when you niche down and you're very specific, all walks of life, specific in what you do, that helps build your people. If she, especially if you have a link, is like, again, they click that link. Let's say you created your fat loss tips. Click here for my top 5 fat loss tips. If you're doing a mentor, for my personal mentorship. So again, what's in it for them? Why should they click that link? So here's just a few examples of some bios, and both of these ladies, I should update it. They have both made their bios way better since this, and I think these are good. So that's what's great about your bio. If you pick something, you're not married to it. So if you think of some better language, if you want to update it as you grow and your brand grows and you evolve, totally go for it. I love Evelyn. She helps female entrepreneurs transform their bodies so they can show up confident online. Who does she help? What does she help them do? And that's the format that you want to use. Not so much about the how, because your audience doesn't care how they can solve a pain point. They just want to know that you're the person with the solution that can take them from point A to point B. So don't focus so much on the how. And then Megan's, she helps online coaches find ideal one-on-one clients. So what does she help them do? And then why do they want it? So that they can travel and live fully. And she's even changed this. I don't like live fully because what does that mean? You want to be very specific. Highlights, I like talking about them because I get asked a lot about them, but don't lose sleep over feeling like you have to have perfect highlights. Just as a whole, I will say using icons instead of text is always going to win. It's more aesthetically pleasing. It's not as busy. And universally, everyone knows what icons mean. Even if they, if they can't read your text, they're like, what is that? Who knows? Icons, everyone knows. I also recommend if you don't have these categories, I would add like a results category where you can put the results of the people who you have helped. A client love category is great. When someone gives you a shout out on stories, you can repost it and share it. That also helps build your social proof. So if anyone, you might occasionally get asked this, well, what have you helped people do? What are people saying about you? You can just direct them to your highlights. But I will say, don't worry about them so much because people are very rarely bored and just scrolling through your highlights for shits and giggles. They're just not. So don't feel like you got to stay up all night making covers. You can easily make these with icons in Canva. Or if you want something a little bit more fancy, like the left, you can hire a graphic, make them for like $10. So you're going for, but again, don't freak out about it. Hashtags go. These are how to make them is powerful and use all 30 and post them in the first comment. Really notice performance first comment in the caption. The reason I like first comment is meaning think about what types of hashtags do they up about the don'ts and kind of dig on that in a second. As far as recommend 200,000 posts within the hashtags that you use. The reason being is when it's a smaller hashtag, you have the ability to perform at the top. Whereas if you did hashtag fitness, the only person getting to the top is like meme accounts and Kim Kardashian. So we can't keep up with that. So we'll stick in the area where we can stay at the top for longer as a regular run-of-the-mill account. For now, we're growing. And then another reason would be when you stay at the top for longer, more people have the opportunity to see you. So if you can stay at the top for hours or days, then that's a really good hashtag for you to be using. The don'ts, again, no Beachbody hashtags, because the only person that looks at Beachbody hashtags are other coaches and me. And you already know me, so you don't need me to find you now. The spammy hashtags, again, they're not helping you. You're getting buried within seconds. We all would. So there's really no point in using it. It's not helping you. And then, of course, using the same hashtags in every post is another big no-no. That's probably the most important one of all things, because Instagram does have a little switch that if you keep repeating the same ones, it questions if your activity is spam, and they won't show your post to as many people, not just within the hashtags, but for the people that follow you as well. So some people believe that they've been shadow banned, and it's still up in the air if that's actually a thing. But if you use the same hashtags all the time, it's almost likely that that can happen to you. So we can laugh about the hashtags that I used 4 years ago when Size came out. I also recommend as a whole for you guys to get creative with your hashtags and try to stay away from health and fitness related ones, because they're so flooded with other people working the same industry. I think you will have a much greater chance to get in front of your audience if you think more along the lines of their interests, their hobbies, the places that they shop, the restaurants that they eat at. So try to go along the lines of those hashtags so you can kind of weed through the noise and have yourself show up more for the people that you're looking to help. Curiosity marketing, that's another thing that if you keep doing what I do in these example pictures, it's going to hold you back. Because again, these photos not only look salesy, but they don't look like a professional business owner. And of course, if you're just posing with the product, there's nothing keeping them from taking the name and Googling it. And if they're really that curious, going to get it elsewhere. So as much as we love Shakeology, posing with the logo, no go. And then for new product launches, again, the only people that are really going to care about those pictures and love on them are other coaches and me, because I want you to notice me. So just don't. If you want to kind of use the products and what you're doing, my favorite way to do it, let me use a cup as an example over here. So do like a talking Instagram story and just casually like mix your drink. Like don't even pay attention. It's just kind of going on in the background and talk about something else. That's how you use curiosity marketing, because people don't even realize it, but mentally they're in what you're doing because you're not drawing attention to it. So talking, shaking, and not pointing out exactly what it is. So if you don't have any shaker cups that like don't have a logo on it, I recommend just getting a regular blender bottle. And if you don't use ice, it's not too a little hack for you. Close friends feature, I wanted to bring this up because I think this is a newer and not fully utilized feature by a lot of people. This is a great way to keep track of your challengers, and also a way to kind of deliver exclusive content and or announcements to them. And they're very likely to see it because, again, most people on Instagram show up daily. So this can be a perk of working with you, as they get exclusive content delivered to them through Facebook and Instagram or something. And if you don't know how to edit who's in your close friends group, it's in the same little place where you go to get to settings and your insights. So try it out, see if you like it, see if it helps you stay more organized and deliver more content. And then the IGTV update, if you don't have this yet, I believe you just need to update your app on your phone. But basically, for those of you that aren't too familiar, IGTV is the ability to upload a 10-minute video. But what's so great is with this new update, you can put a 1-minute preview and a cover photo and post it to your feed. So that's a great way to get more eyes, not just to your page, but they spend more time in videos. So obviously the goal of the preview is to get them to watch the full video. But here's the thing, if they watch the full preview, that's spending a whole minute on your post. The more time people spend on your post, the better your posts perform and your account as a whole in the algorithm. So if Instagram sees, wow, people are spending a lot of time on this person's profile, we're going to show it to more people because clearly it's valuable content. And Instagram wants people to stay on their app. So they're going to continue to show people content that they believe is going to keep people on the app. So I definitely recommend doing an IGTV about once a week. And the best content you can do, and this is important, I would write this down, think about what you can teach someone and think about what you do habitually every day that you don't think is valuable. So let me kind of rephrase that a little bit. Basically, if you are someone that wants to help people with clean eating or meal prep, do a brain dump of all of the things that you do habitually to meal prep and plan for clean eating. All of those little things that you think are so silly that no one could possibly find valuable, that's what people will find valuable, because what's instinct and habit to you, someone else has no idea about. And when you share those little nuggets with them and those tips, that's gold. And that's how they build trust, because they're like, oh my God, I never realized that a great way to get up and get your workout done in the morning is to lay your clothes out the night before. Like, that's genius. But people that don't do it, that's news to them. And you might just do it every day without even thinking about it. So kind of think along those lines, because those tips make amazing IGTVs, and that's what holds people's attention. I will say also, if you really hate the thought of having a video on your feed, if it's going to bug you aesthetically, I would keep it up for 24 hours and then take the preview down. So that's an option as well. But give the video in your feed a full 24 hours of life, because that's usually the average life of a post. So we'll get into a couple of these little engagement hacks just to kind of introduce us to engagement. You really need to give out double the engagement you want to receive back. So oftentimes when I hear from my clients, I'm not getting any engagement, I'm stuck, what do I do? The first thing I always ask them is, how much engagement are you giving out per day? And they pause, because they're not. So just engaging on your own posts with other people isn't the same as going out into Instagram, into hashtags, and starting conversations with people on their posts. So the more you do that as a whole, the more you are going to get on your page. Another thing to pay attention to rather, are your insights. If you have a business profile, you have access to insights. If you don't have a business profile, I recommend switching once you hit 1,000 followers. But for those of you with business profiles, check and see when your audience is online. That is when you should be posting to your feed. So if your audience is generally on the most between 12 and 6, if you post your caption at 9 p.m., there's not as many people are going to see it right away, and that's going to hurt your engagement as a whole. The more people that see it within the first 15 minutes it's up and are liking, viewing, and commenting, the better your post will do overall. So generally for most people, especially in this industry, the times when your audience is online is between 12 and 6. And that is within your time zone. I would recommend posting within that time. Creating valuable content, I know sounds subjective, but again, valuable content, I would look at your previous posts if you have a business profile and click and view your insights on an individual post. If you have any shares or any saves, then that's considered valuable content. And you want to make sure to save that post so that you can repost it. That's another thing I love so much about Instagram, is it is ingested so passively that you can be repetitive and no one's going to notice, no one's going to care. If anything, they're going to appreciate seeing the helpful information multiple times. Another reason being, people often have to see things, including invites, 7 times before they're ready to buy. So being repetitive is good, being repetitive helps you, and being repetitive works well on Instagram. So kind of look through your posts. If you have any shares or any saves, save them and repost that same valuable content within a month. And then that makes your life easier, because you don't feel like you have to create new captions all the time. You can literally take a caption from January, maybe change some of the language, maybe change your call to action at the end, but then repost it. And people are going to love it just as much, if not more, than they did when you posted it in January. Something else that helps with engagement is Instagram really favors accounts that use all of their features. So if you're not using the GIFs and the cute things on stories, if you are not going live, if you're not utilizing IGTV, you definitely want to start at least dabbling in those, because then Instagram will start showing your stuff to more people. Another thing that's hurting you, if you use these, are the third-party automation apps. So that there's so many: Jumper Media, Stem Social, any app that is automatically liking, commenting for you, those apps are hurting you. So I definitely recommend removing them. I definitely believe for longevity of your business and of your account, especially with where I'm pretty sure all of us are in the game where we don't have a team and full businesses needing to be more of a corporate structure. You can totally do this on your own. So I don't believe you need these apps at this point in the game, especially because Instagram is cracking down on them. So let's get into a few engagement boosting tips. You can start doing these right away and you will notice a difference within a week if you commit to, again, consistency. Using a hook and a call to action on every post. And this is what I tell my clients who freak out about having perfect captions. If you have a hook that brings the reader in, and if you have a call to action to close to give them something to do, your post will do way better than a wonderful diary written by an English major. The reason being is the hook brings someone in, they're spending time on your post, you're already winning. Call to action, ask them a question at the end so they respond. The more comments, the more that helps you out as well. Some hooks that you can use are, if you are someone that deals with blank, you should read this post. So just telling them, if you want to read about this, continue on. If this is something you struggle with, you'll want to read this. You can say, you can kind of get people's attention with like an, oh my God, like you will not believe what happened to me today. So people are curious. They're like, I want to know what happened to you today. You can also do like something very direct. My 3 tips to get up earlier in the morning. So something, again, kind of like what I mentioned for IGTV, think about 3 tips that are so habitual to you that you don't think they could possibly be valuable. That's what people would love to read. And posts like that often get shares and saves, by the way. So make sure you save those posts because repurposing them is going to really help you streamline your Instagram. You can also ask people to comment or to tag friends who would find this beneficial. You can use a call to action to be a giveaway, comment below, tag 2 friends to win something. But the best thing and my favorite call to action is just to answer a question. Like, tell me a fun fact about you. Tell me what you're doing this weekend. Anything that people can very easily answer in the scroll without having to think about it. Probably my favorite engagement boosting tip is this one. And people ask me, okay, if I'm not sending hey girl messages, how do I get in the DMs? This is the number one way that I do it. This is the number one way that I teach my clients to do it, is to ask people what they want to see from you. And here's why this is so beneficial. 1, they tell you what they want and they tell you what to create content on. That makes your life so much easier. You don't have to sit and think, crap, what do people want to see? Boom, someone in your audience just told you. Easy peasy. Reason number 2, the more often you're in people's DMs, the more frequently they see your content, both in stories and the posts that you post on your feed. There's another one. And then reason number 3, the more you are in the DMs of the people that constantly like and comment on your stuff, Instagram shows your posts to more people through the hashtags that you're using. So those are the 3 big reasons why this is important. And as a whole, you're building trust, because when you're getting in the DMs, you're not saying my new favorite hey girl message. Hey girl, thank you so much for your support. Are you on a health and fitness journey too? If you've sent those, I'm sorry. Triggered. But people, what does that help? Because if they're not, they're going to say no. And then where does that conversation go? Nowhere. Or they're going to say, yes, why? They want to know why you're asking. So instead of asking that, say, hey, I appreciate your support. I've seen you liking my stuff for a while. I'd love to know what else you'd like to see from me. People love to give their opinion because we're selfish little buggers, and that's just what we do. And people appreciate that you take the time to ask them and that you're not just trying to sell them something, which is crazy. That when people get a random message, their guard is immediately up. That wall is there. And if you want to break through it, ask what you can do for them instead of what they can do for you. And you'll break through that in record timing. Bonus points using voice memos. You will be amazed at how many people still don't know that voice memos are a thing. So when you send it to them, they're so appreciative, it's crazy. That helps build trust. That gives you buku brownie points. And then number 3, I believe I kind of talked about this, but again, always reply to your comments. Even the bot ones, even the ones that just say like, you're hot, just say, thank you so much for the support, like anything. Bots, always respond. A feed post has an average life of about 24 hours. So for 24 hours after you post, respond to the comments that come in. After that, you don't have to worry about it unless you feel like it's a good comment worth responding to. And then 4 or more words, generally that's what Instagram considers a post that boosts engagement. And your replies count towards that total for you. So that's why it's important to always reply so your numbers are doubled. Win-win. Viral content, I love this as well because we're in the health and fitness industry and we post side-by-sides. If you aren't using text on your side-by-sides, you are losing a big opportunity to have your post end up on the Explore page. These types of posts with text end up on there more than anything else within this industry. So the kind of text I recommend putting are dates or feelings. And I highlighted the feelings because we all know dates, they're not as exciting. So I think using text, and then my favorite is doing like a highlight reel versus real life, especially again in this industry. I'm sure you guys have seen those where people talk about like my after photo when I'm not breathing versus my after photo when I'm actually breathing, of people talking about the dishonesty in before and after photos. You can bring attention to that. I love doing the ones of what I think I look like looking at my business and what I actually look like. That's kind of funny because it shows your laptop lifestyle. It shows real life of what you look like working on your business and bringing attention to the fact that you think you look glamorous, but in reality, you're in your sweatshirt on the couch. That's a great way for people to relate to you. So I love these types of posts. Sprinkle them in 1 every 2 weeks. Or if you are someone who likes to have the cute columns, you can do a column of just these, because you can even take similar photos and just put different text on them down the road. Again, repurposing content, because people don't scroll that far. They're not going to remember that you posted it 2 months ago. So here's that little growth hack. So try this. Let me know how it goes. But here's the kicker. You can only do this like once a month or it doesn't work. And I didn't come up with this. It was taught to me, so I can't take the credit for it. But basically what you do is you pick an account that has an audience similar to the audience that you want. So not someone else in this industry. Think about maybe a celebrity, an influencer, a blogger, someone that has a pretty large following, but it's not going to be another coach. What you'll do is you'll unfollow and quickly refollow, or you can just click that little arrow down that brings up that list of suggested people to follow. And what you'll do is you will follow a couple of those accounts, maybe like 3 to 4, and you'll repeat this on 2 to 3 accounts. And you'll notice probably within 20 minutes or so, you'll start to get followers, and they're not as a whole spammy or body. They're actual targeted followers for you. And here's the reason why this little hack works is when you do this and follow suggested accounts, your account pops up as a suggested account for that blogger, influencer, celebrity. So other people that are interested in, I always use like Joanna Gaines as an example. I don't know why. So people that follow her, if that's the audience that you want, you will come up as suggested. And people who are curious are going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go check out Lauren because it's suggested that I should look at her account. So this is cool, but I've tried doing this multiple times and it doesn't work unless you only do it about once a month. So give it a go. Let me know. I'm definitely not someone that thinks that the vanity metrics of followers matter, but hey, we're human. Numbers are cool. And if you want a little boost, this is kind of fun. And you never know. There could be someone who could be your next builder coach. Who knows? So if you want more information on how to learn from me, these are the 2 ways to do it right now. On Instagram, I post tips all the time. But right now, what I'm really focusing on is the next version, 2.0 of my 5-Day Stop Behavioral Challenge. Registration is currently open. We start on Monday. But leading up to it, I am doing mini trainings. Like tomorrow, I'm doing my 3 tips on how to figure out who your ideal client is. So that'll be really beneficial for you. The link is kind of long, so it's just in my Instagram bio. So there's my Instagram, link in my bio, and you can get registered. I'm also running a contest for referrals. So anyone who you refer when they name you, I'm doing a contest of who refers the most for Amazon gift cards, so that'll be fun. The girl who won last time's in the lead, so I'm like, who is going to crush her? So I will open it up now for questions. If anybody has questions about this or anything else.
See, I was just going to ask Kayla, when you talked about not using the third-party apps, does that also include, what is the one, there's like Cleaner and something else?
Yeah, with
Captivate.
yeah, with those to see like, who's unfollowed you, if you use it, I would maybe check it once a month and then unlink it from your Instagram after you're done. So because Instagram has threatened for a long time to really crack down on people, and whether it's true or not, I wouldn't want to play games, especially when I spent all this time building my account. So if you're going to do a little peek and then unlink it, so then God forbid it's not there.
Okay. All right. Very good. That was really all I had. I have a whole page of notes, so.
All right. Awesome.
That was good. Anybody else on here have questions? No? Liz? Yeah, unmute yourself. Go for it.
That'd be me telling the kids in the background, be quiet.
I just wanted to mute the TV because I knew that would kind of be obnoxious. I don't necessarily have a question, but I just want to say that all of that, like, I knew some of it, but a lot of it, I didn't know, I guess, like the stuff behind it when it came to the algorithms for Instagram, and it was super helpful. Like, I was sitting here like, oh my goodness, like, I don't know if you could see me like talking the whole time. It's because you were blowing my mind throughout the entire training. So I enjoyed all of it. I just want to say it was fantastic.
Thank you so much.
Good. All right. No other questions? You good?
If you don't have any questions, we can take picture for Instagram, because
yeah,
you always got to do that social proof, guys. Social proof is everything.
Oh yeah, I make him do it with me. All right, I'm gonna go on my phone first, and then if Kayla wants to take
right, yeah, totally go. We go at the same time. Ready?
Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you again, Kayla. I appreciate it so much. You are our first guest speaker ever that I've ever brought in. So
all right. Well, thank you.
Exciting. All right. I will post the recording. I'll post the recording in the team page. Have a good night, you guys.
Have a good night. See you later.
Bye.
See you in the town.